This is the Andrew Walsh podcast. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen. I really appreciate it. I'm praying you can take away something from this episode that brings value to your life. Make sure to subscribe to my podcast to stay up to date with the latest episodes, and please share with a friend if you feel you're getting something out of these episodes. You can also follow me on Instagram at @A_Walsh. Let's fire it off. All right, what is going on, guys? It's Andrew Walsh here, and I have an amazing guest who's going to bring a ton of value. Alec Merlino, how we doing, brother?
What's up, bro? How are you, dude?
Oh, I'm doing awesome, man. Guys, we have got an amazing podcast episode in store for you. So as everyone knows, I'm just going to start with a quick prayer, and then we'll get after it. So Father God, thank you so much for this amazing, wonderful day. Thank you, God, for giving Alec time out of his busy schedule and his running schedule to come and share and motivate and inspire everyone who's listening today, God. We ask that you speak through not only me, but through Alec to somehow impact somebody who is listening to this episode today, God. We pray for everyone who's listening, that you bless them, that you have unexpected favor and miracles happen in their life, God. And we just thank you for all that you do in our life, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. I felt that was good, dude.
I don't know, man. I just love starting with a prayer, because then I feel like as you and I start talking, I just know whatever we're saying is kind of meant to be, you know?
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah. So Al, can you kind of just, maybe some people are on the podcast and personally for me, Sean Donnelly, shout out to Sean, said, hey, this is my guy, Alec. He'd be great to connect with. And I start following you on social media. I'm like, I love this guy. Can you kind of explain your background for maybe somebody who's listening, who's like, I don't know who Alec is?
Yeah. I mean, I guess in a nutshell, I grew up in San Clemente, moved to San Diego probably 3 years ago. I'd say like most people, I was working a corporate job 9 to 5. That was post travel. I traveled a ton, and then 24 after I was on the show Survivor, I was like, all right, I need to figure something out. So got a job recruiting, like sales job. Everyone's like, you got to do sales. Did that for about probably 14 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then ultimately just wasn't like stoked, like I had this kind of like lust for life before Survivor with all the travel. And so kind of forged my own path or my own career into the fitness space. And now I've been running a ton, working with brands. So yeah, it's been quite the journey, and that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, there's so much I want to unpack with what you just said. So, let's start here, like with the travel, because I'm personally somebody who played football my whole life, so we really didn't get to travel besides state to state. What has traveling kind of done for you in broadening your worldview or how you look at things? What has traveling kind of done for you, or maybe where's some places you've been?
Dude, travel for me, my grandma took me on when we were younger. There's I have cousins, we're all similar in age. So she took us on cruises all the time, which we got to see some places. You know how a cruise works. You get off, you have like 8 hours and you're back on the boat or the ship or whatever. But it wasn't until I went to Spain to do the Camino de Santiago to Compostela it's from St. John in France. And then you hike like almost 500 miles. So I did 2/3 of it with my grandma and my sister. And it was there that I met these two ladies, and they said, yo, you need to go to Southeast Asia. It's like backpackers haven. It's unreal. I think I was 20 at the time. So I came home after this trip to Spain, Portugal. We went to the UK. I think that was it. And I got on the computer, started like anyone else, YouTubing, like backpacking through Southeast Asia. And I called my buddy Austin. I was like, yo, we have to do this. We have to go here. But I guess long story short, he ended up not being able to go. And so I was like, well, screw it. I'm just going to go. So I went solo for 5 months through Southeast Asia. But I mean, to answer your question, it was a huge learning experience. I know a lot of people before I went, they said you're going to grow a lot from it. I wasn't really sure how or what they meant by that. But I think just being alone and being out there so vulnerable and kind of just so open to meet a ton of new people, experience a bunch of culture, but more so just being able to like not be so what's the word? Like, I think when we're here, we choose who we kind of hang out with, where when you're traveling, you're alone and you're just like, I'm open for business. I just want a friend. I just want someone to hang out with. And so you're hanging out with these all types of different people. It's such like an eclectic groups of people out there. And then I came home and I'm like, that was so rad. And these are people that I still stay in touch with to this day and that I've seen a couple years after, traveled other places and met up with them. So it just adds a whole nother perspective to life. And it gives you kind of this, like what I was saying, this lust to continue to seek that adventure or thrill.
Oh my gosh, I love hearing that. I think that's tangible advice, Alec, too, for anyone who's listening to what you just said. Maybe they haven't traveled or they have traveled, but we're in our day to day. Like let's be honest here. Our days are pretty consistent, especially if you're in a corporate job or there's not a lot of variety. So I think for you sharing your testimony of 5 months on your own, I can only imagine you're going out of your way to meet new people, try new things, right? I think as a culture, we can add that variety to our life right now. Like if we could
Oh,
just
for sure.
go to the beach or like maybe what's something that I know you can be in Sacramento or San Diego. What's something that maybe you like doing that like, I'm gonna do this today and like get out of the normalcy of my routine.
Well, like, of course, being by the beach, surfing. I mean, the thing is, too, I run obviously all the time, and I'm blessed to be by the coast. And there's probably some people listening that don't live in California, but running every day by the beach and looking at the water, and I'll run and say, when I get home, I'm going to go surf. It's something I did a lot before, I think, running and now working with companies. And I'm pretty busy, so it's not something I get to do as much, hopefully, like a couple times a week. But it's one of those things that, like, dude, it's so therapeutic. I always tell people, I'm like, it doesn't matter how good you are. Surfing is always it's been so like, it's just therapy. So relaxing. I love it.
Yeah, that's one thing I definitely want to try. I know we have like a Puerto Rico trip coming up that I want to try surfing. I've never done it before. I even lived in Newport Beach, like on the sand, and I didn't surf. So I feel like I
Yeah.
got to, at least being in California, you got to do it.
Yeah. What do you do for like to kind of like break the routine or get out of the comfort zone?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's so funny when you started talking. I remember in college, I used to call it like an Andrew Day. So like we were on the quarter system in college. So every like one time out of each quarter. So I would just pretty much say, even if I had class, I'm gonna forfeit all responsibilities today. Just for one day. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
whatever I want. Like I'm gonna sleep in, I'll go to the gym. I'm going to go out to the beach. I'm going to go play basketball. I'm going to go get a pina colada at my favorite spot, and it was so fun. And I kind of somebody would like text me or one of my friends and roommates be like, dude, what do you do? I'm like having an Andrew Day. And then they would be like, oh, I want it. So it was so fun. Like we would look forward to every quarter, just like middle of the week, like on a Thursday or a Wednesday, just like, hey, I know we have class, we have this, we have that, forfeiting everything. And, I think I've gotten away from that being so busy with work, but
Yeah.
even talking to you and now looking at it, I'm looking now like, yeah, making money is great. Being busy and stuff is great, but I want to enjoy and have some spontaneity and adventure in life. So I'm proactively looking for more ways now to kind of do that again, like get out, go to the lake, go to the beach. Maybe it's surfing, because we're so close.
Dude, those days I feel like those are some of the most important days, even if it's like an hour, just doing something different or creating some type of like a new hobby or a new habit, anything, and just like getting outside the norm or doing something that you normally wouldn't do is so important. Because like a lot of the times you do it and you're like, oh wow, this is actually fun, or this is challenging, or like I kind of like this.
Yeah, we did like with my wife and I, we did like a Thai massage because I had like a regular like Swedish massage, and we're like watching YouTube. The ladies are like on the raptors like with their feet on your back. I'm like, dude, this
Oh
is
yeah.
crazy. Like, let's freaking try it. And watching it on YouTube, it made me actually like a little skeptical. Like, oh man. But we walked out of there, Alec, and we're like, oh my gosh, that was so cool. Like feel amazing. But like you said, you never know. Like just try it out, give it an hour, try something new.
Yeah, dude. my new thing is so like I moved to Carlsbad, 6 months ago? And I'm always running around and I see all these people, I see all these cool restaurants. And I say to myself, just because when you're traveling solo, you're going out and you're by yourself. So there was a lot of nights where I'd be sitting and I'd be in Thailand or Cambodia or whatever, and I'm ordering, a curry and I'm just sitting alone. However, a lot of the times I'd go out alone and I never felt alone because there was always people like, oh, come join us. I'm like, oh, all right. Next thing I know, it's like drinking a beer with a bunch of people all over the world. But point is, I told myself, I wrote a list down of all the restaurants that I've been meaning and wanting to go to in Carlsbad. And so like last night I went to this place called Vigalucci's. It's this Italian restaurant. Shut my phone off, didn't bring it, and just sat there. Well, I mean, I had it, but I just turned it off once like I sat down and just sat alone. I was just like alone at this restaurant, and it was like, it's really nice. And so now I have this list. I'm like, okay, once a week, that's my new thing. Once a week, I'm going to try a restaurant. It sounds so silly, but I feel like it's so important, because at the end of the day, if you don't enjoy your own company and if you're not okay with just yourself, it's like other people aren't going to be. So it's actually like a fun little experiment. Go out, sit down somewhere alone. They're like, table for two. I'm like, no, just one.
Oh my God, man, I love that. I want to kind of dive into that because we just kind of float into, because like I know mental health is a big thing right now. And I used to have a boss and he said, if you can't love yourself, how do you expect anyone else to love you? And you said something
That's
about
what
like,
I was trying to say.
yeah, like
Yeah.
your own company. And it's like, man, when realistically, I'm gonna challenge anyone who's listening right now, like think about it right now. When's the last time you went to and ate lunch by yourself? Or went to a restaurant by yourself and genuinely just sat there, right? I think that's really important in our go social media speed. Everything is now. In fact, slow down, have
Yeah.
some me time,
Well, it's interesting too, because then you go out and like I've done it a couple times. I've gone to movies alone. This is like I'm just like I think I'm gonna go to a movie by myself, but I don't really think it matters like whether or not you have like you and your wife. I think it would still be cool for just you to go out. But I mean, like last night, I'm sitting there and I don't know, it's interesting. It's fun. I always enjoy people watching and hanging out. And there was like an open air market, but it's so funny because you start to realize like, yeah, like, are you cool with yourself? Are you comfortable with yourself? You start to like have thoughts. I'm like sitting there. I'm like, should I sit like this? Should I like have my arms down? Do I sit like this on the table? I'm like, are people like think this guy's like some weirdo? But like, you thoroughly enjoy it. It's so interesting to me to think about when was the last time, I don't know, I guess for people listening to think, aside from driving in your car alone, that you actually just sat down alone and I mean, you have no one to talk to, which is kind of a cool thing. You're like, wow. And I think it's those settings where normally when you go out to dinner, you're with someone.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very, very foreign to be at a dinner table and there's no one sitting across from you. There's no other people there and you're just by yourself. It's
Yeah.
not the norm. So I think that's why it's like that much weirder and it's that much cooler at the same time.
Yeah, that's so fun. I'm like really big on like punctuality. It's one thing I just with meetings, I think there's a certain respect of somebody's time. So I'm very frequently early to meet like a lunch meeting. And it's so funny, I love that expression. You'd rather be an hour early than 1 minute late. And I'll be at these restaurants sitting there by myself, and then I notice I'll talk to the waiter, and your same thing. You're sitting there reading your environment, and it's just weird to kind of get that alone time in a different setting. So I thank you for kind of bringing that to light, Alec. I think that's really
Yeah.
great. I'm really proud of you, man, for kind of doing that. I feel like I've had a lot of people on the show, but nobody's ever really said like, "Oh yeah, dude, I'll go to the movies by myself and just have a good time." That's awesome. That's
People
super
listening
great.
are like, wow, this kid's lonely, man.
Well, I mean, well, like this, I just got to ask you this because I know you've been on the CBS show Survivor, and I've
Yeah.
seen it. I'm sure people know about the show. You got to tell, is that real? Is it reality TV? Like, are you really all on your own? Do you have like rights that you can't say anything about it, or do you want to
Yeah,
like
no, I
share that
mean that's the
experience?
most common question people ask. It's is it real? And the next one is, do they give you food behind the scenes? And I mean, to answer the second question, I say, look at how much weight we lose. No, they don't give us food.
Mm-hmm.
To answer the first one, is it real? Oh yeah, it's real. It's real. There's no playbook. Like I remember going on that show and getting off the boat, stepping on the barge and seeing the production and seeing 150 people standing on the opposite side of me and all these cameras lined up and then stepping on the mat and Jeff, the host, looking at us. And then we all get on our mats, two tribes. And he's like, all right, this is it. Season 37, David versus Goliath. We're all, cheering. And then ultimately they put us on these rafts. We go paddle on to our island. And then it's kind of just game on. They don't give you this book, like this is what's going to happen. And then like, you're going to do this. And then after a couple hours, you're going to do this. It's like, whatever you want to do. You want to build a shelter and get that like going first. Great. If not, nope. They don't say anything. They don't talk to you. Like there was a point I was climbing this tree to cut down these vines. I was probably like, I don't know, 15 feet up. And I'm like leaning off the tree, trying to chop these vines down so we could use them to then tie the shelter. And I remember thinking in my head, this is pretty dangerous, dude. Like if I fall, if I get hurt, but they don't say anything. They just let you do your thing. There was like this fish we caught and I'm like, is this poisonous? And I kind of look at the people filming and they don't give you any sign of like, yes or no. So
Wow.
yeah, it's real.
Bro, I have so much respect for you. We have palm trees here, and I got a ladder to like try and trim them. And
Yeah.
I was on a ladder, and I was like, "This is sketchy. Let me get back down." So I love you have like that adventurous nature to you. What maybe would you say is something you took away from doing that show that maybe you've never told anybody before, but you can see years later how it's impacted your life today?
I would say two things. The first is, which I tend to forget quite often, but I remind myself just through gratitude, but it's that everyone's heard it. It's the most cliche thing, and it probably doesn't. I mean, I'm sure it rings true for everyone, but it's something we so often forget, which is just the little things in life. I remember the first 11 days, I want to say, was pouring rain. People think Fiji, beach, castaway style. That's what I thought. That's why I wanted to go on the show. Oh, this is cool. I get to run away for 7 weeks and live on an island. And it's completely justified through the fact that I'm doing a show. People aren't going to think I'm crazy. If I did that now, I'm like, hey, I'm going to run away and go live on an island. They'd be like, yeah, you've lost it. But so I was like, this is so cool. And I'm just going to live on an island, climb trees, chop down coconuts, and it's going to be awesome. And it was pouring rain. And I think day 3, I said to myself, what am I doing? A lot of us did. Jeff asked us, he says, who's thought about quitting? All of us raised our hand.
Wow.
And so it was the 11th day, or maybe not that long. Maybe it was the 9th. I just remember it was just raining, windy. I was cold. The sun would go down. Our shelter sucked. And I said, how are we going to get through this night? And like, there's probably people listening that have gone through much worse, but it was really gnarly. And once we got a fire, it's like the 9th day. I remember being so happy that my socks were dry. A lot of people remember that. I'm like, dude, I'm so stoked. My socks are dry. And I had this hoodie that was soaking wet for the first like 8 days. And like, I got to dry this thing and put it on. And I was so stoked just to have a dry hoodie and dry socks. I mean, like, let's take out the fact that now I'm back home. I live by the beach. We have all the luxuries, food. I didn't care about anything. I didn't care about food. I'm like, dude, just get me dry clothes and I'm happy.
Yeah.
So it was just like, I told myself, I said, when I go home, I'm going to appreciate those small things much more and not take them for granted. Everyone said that before, I'm sure, but it's just like something that I now, when I wake up and I journal, that's always something I do is write three to 5 gratitudes, something I'm grateful for. And most of the time they repeat themselves, but I think it's continuing to remind yourself that today I'm grateful for the fact that I get to go on a run. Today, I'm grateful for the fact that I get to go outside and it's safe and I don't have to worry about something happening.
Yeah.
Or today I'm grateful for the fact that I live in a house in Carlsbad, that I have family and friends that have a ton of love for me, support. I've always said that the pros and cons list that you write out of life whenever something's going bad or seeming like it's going bad will always outweigh the negative. You can always think of more things that are going right than wrong.
Oh,
100% of the time.
I agree. I think even for me, I do something similar to you there, Alec, and I applaud you for sharing that because it can be a crazy world we live in, but definitely gratitude. I know I always try and do like something bodily or environmentally or spiritually, like I'll say, like God, thank you for my 10 fingers, so I can type and send emails and text and check in on people, right? Or even that my phone has, I have a phone that I can call and reach out to people and stay connected. And it's like crazy when you start diving in. I feel like every hour you can look at something you're either doing and find something to be grateful for in that moment. Like right now, I'm thankful that we have Zoom so that you and I can do this and I can export this and edit it and share it and thousands of people can listen to this. Like how crazy is that? Like, I mean, this is a dream come true right now. Even having you on here is amazing,
Yeah, dude, I appreciate that. I'm stoked to be on here, dude.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was at my grandma's. I think it was the other day, and sitting there catching up with her. She lives in San Clemente, so I had gone up there to see my family, my nephew, and doing our check-in. My grandma and I are super close, and she says to me, "So, how's life?" Just talking about normal stuff, work, all that. She says, "So, if there's one thing in your life that could be better, what would it be?"
Mm.
And I sat there for a minute and I'm thinking to myself, and I said, honestly, I smile. I was like, nothing. Not to like brag or be like, I'm so happy. Like with life, I don't think there's like happiness is so it's ebbs and flows. There's no like measurement of I'm this happy, but there was nothing I could pinpoint that was going bad. I'm like, oh, this could be better. There's always things that can be better, but I'm like, I'm genuinely like filled up with love and gratitude. And I feel I'm stoked. I'm like, everything's going well. I'm stoked. I'm on a good path. And yeah.
I love it.
So
That's so great. You sound super close too with your grandmother. That must be a really great relationship to have someone, wiser and who's been on the earth longer to kind of ask good questions. Like, do you guys check in? You said like periodically.
yeah, we check in. I'm close with my family. That's like something too. I always like it sounds, I don't know, silly, but I know I'm really lucky to have a family that is still like I have siblings. My parents are still together, so I'm very fortunate, and that's something that I write down every day. Like, dude, I'm so grateful that that I have a family and that I have siblings and that a family that I'm close with and I can talk to, and that's 30 miles away. But yeah, I think that's so important. Family, friends. At the end of the day, going back to Survivor, when we were on the island, if you had checked in with me, I think it was day 24 is when I finally broke down during one of the confessionals. I just start bawling, crying. One of the producers asked me, she says, we're like 30 minutes into this confessional, and she asked me a question. She goes, "Why are you even out here?" And then I just sat there and I just start bawling. And I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I was just family. I couldn't even answer the question. I'm just like in tears. I was like, dude, I just want to talk to my mom. So it's
Wow.
it's interesting. You get put in these situations, or you get removed from what you're so used to, and what we often, like I was saying, take for granted. And you realize like it's so important to like tell the people that you love them, or just check in with them, or give them a call, hang out with them, make time. Yeah, I'm super grateful, and I always I'm stoked I'm so close with them.
I love that. That's a great
Yeah.
perspective to share. You know what I'm gonna do right now is everyone who's listening to this. Alec just said something beautiful, and he's sharing his from his heart here, guys. I know you're thinking of one person right now. When he was talking, you were thinking. I want you to text that person right now that you're thinking of them, and try and book some way to see them or spend time with them, whether it's coffee or you take them out on a lunch. I think life's too short, message those people, spend the quality time with them. And man, I'm loving this. There's following you on social media has been great. And you are a runner. You are a runner, my friend. Every time, hey, he's out there, where you at today? Can you share a little bit? Like you're doing some crazy 500-mile challenge, and explain this challenge, and then also kind of what running does for you as a person.
Uh honestly, I like I hated running before. I didn't start running until, I'm not even on the year mark of running. So I started running April 24th was the very first day of running. And yeah, like I had ran before. I feel like everyone's gone on a run before because they know it's like, oh, it's beneficial for whatever. And I had gone on a couple runs before that in my life, in my lifetime, couple, like 3 mile, 5 mile, but for whatever reason, I felt like I needed some type of outlet at the time to channel negative energy or just to do something for myself. This is why I'm still working. I was working at a recruiting firm and I decided I'm going to do 5K a day for a month.
Wow.
Posted it on social media. I said, I'm doing 5K a day for a month, which is 3.1 miles. And like no running background. I didn't even know kind of like what I was doing at all. But so I did that. Month went by. I finished it. And then around June, I said, okay, it was like 115 or 20 miles. And then June came around. I said to myself, what if I could do 200? So then I did 213. And then July, I said, what if I could do 250? And so it was just continuing to raise that standard for myself, raise the bar and see what am I capable of. And I'm by no means a pro runner. There's runners out there that are like incredible. There's like things they've done that you can't even fathom. I hear stories of runners and I'm just like, how? But it was, it's interesting. In the beginning, it was still hard to get out the door. It was still hard to put my shoes on. And I couldn't say that I genuinely enjoyed going for a run.
Mm-hmm.
However, I enjoyed what it was doing to the other facets of my life, which it was kind of this trickle down effect. I went for a run. It was only 3 miles. It's something we're all very much capable of. And it wasn't fast either. It was kind of a slower paced run. And I started to feel better about myself. I got in better shape, which led to better self-confidence, which led me to, I like wanted to surround myself with more people. I wanted to go out and hang out with people. I felt better about just life in general. I had a better attitude toward a lot of things. I was probably more of a joy to be around. And so it just started trickling into all these things. My stress levels were way down. When stress is down, your metabolism speeds up. When your metabolism speeds up, you start to get more fit. There was so many things happening just from doing something so minute, which is going for a run that takes literally 30 minutes of your day.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's kind of led me to where I'm at now, which is now I genuinely have a passion for running and what it does for mostly mental health.
Yeah. No, this is great, man. I'm so happy that you just shared that because I think right now people are looking for so many different fixes or I got to do this. And we can sometimes make it a little bit harder than it is. And you just got to start. You just got to start and you got to do something. When you first started running and you were doing the 3 miles, can you tell me like out of a 7-day week, like how many days were you running? Were you like, dude, I'm 7 for 7 or like 5 days out of the week? What was that kind of like for you?
Every day was a new day. I mean, I never walked any of the runs. I played sports as well in high school. I swam, I played water polo, I did football for 3 years. So I have like a decent background. I grew up like most young teenagers wanting to like get a gym membership and go to the gym. And so I kind of, I guess, had the mentality and I was like, okay, another run. Let's go, baby. I got
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
3.1 miles. This is easy. And but there were days like it was a struggle. There were days where I ran a lot slower and I was bummed out. But then I was like, it's all right, it's all good. Tomorrow's another day, another run. So
Yeah.
I mean, struggle, but like you said, it's very interesting. A lot of the times I think like had I not posted it on social media and been posting my runs every day, I may or may not have given up. And I'm very glad I did. It was like that level of accountability that
Yeah.
I kind of backed myself into a corner, posted about it, and then had to execute on what I said I was going to do.
Yeah. I love it.
So,
It's true. There's like an accountability with social media too. I mean, personally, for me, I know some agents or some people who work out and they post every workout. You're one of, I do the same thing. Like for me, I have a standard of excellence, and it's like I said I'm going to wake up at 3:30 Monday through Friday, so I post it every morning. It might annoy the shit out of people, but
Yeah, yeah,
I honestly, it's a check-in, and it's an accountability for me to know, like, yes, I'm up, I'm posting. It's like a habit, and it holds you accountable. And it's crazy. I've listened to like Mel Robbins. She's famous for like the 5 second rule, and she's talked about like you're never gonna want to do the thing, like you kind of. And it's crazy. A year later, since I've been waking up, sorry, like it doesn't. I don't even think about it anymore. The alarm goes off. It's like a 7 o'clock alarm, but it's 3:30 in the
yeah,
morning, and you just wake up. It's like this is what you do. And I think even hearing you share what it's done for mental health, like the running for you, everyone's heard of that runner's high, but the release of endorphins. And I'm super into like fitness and working out. And I think people may look at running or working out like your goal is to get in shape. It's not always like that. It's like it's almost like it's a therapy.
hmm
And like working out is so good for mental health, endorphins, your confidence, how you hold yourself, how you see the world the rest of the day. The byproduct is yeah, maybe you look a little bit better, right? Like that's
yeah.
that's not the main goal. And I think where people may struggle with consistently working out or exercising is because they are looking at it for the result. Like I want to
Exactly.
look for the look of it, not for what it does internally. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting too. It's like the run challenge. I think it doesn't have to be running. You can like you could give yourself a challenge in anything. It could be like I want to make 20 cold calls a day, which will then lead to better what like revenue generated for the company. I'll make more money. It could be like a financial goal, right? And do that for a month and see what happens. But I think the point is when you do something, often you surprise yourself with, dude, if I could do this and I can get these little wins every day, what else could I do? If you can
Mm,
win one thing, it transfers into other things and you just start to add these notches to the tool belt. So when you're going through something else that sucks, like when I did an ultra marathon, I always there's so many things that I draw back on. When I was on Survivor and I stood on this perch for 6 hours, like there's all these things that you can draw back on. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in the fitness space or have to be running. Could be anything.
yeah, yeah. It's like momentum, I think. It's like you get the dopamine from a checklist, like, okay, this thing is done. This thing, you do a couple smaller tasks, or I made my bed, I drank water, I took some supplement, and then
Mhm.
you're like, ooh, this is kind of nice, and
Yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah.
you get that momentum going. So for everyone who's listening right now, Alec, can you share what you're doing for this month of March? How can we serve you? Because I know you're doing some stuff for some small businesses and you're trying to raise money. I want to pledge some money to you. Like what are you kind of doing for this month of March?
Yeah, so basically, I decided to do what's called the Calendar Club Challenge. And what that is where you just run the corresponding number of miles with what day it is in the month. So March 1st, I ran 1 mile. Today is March 18th, so I had to do 18 miles. And on March 31st, I'll run 31 miles.
Wow.
So there's that. And then I also did David Goggins' challenge earlier in the month, which was the 4x4x48. It was run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. So my buddy Adam and I like to call those bonus miles. It was just one more of those challenges that I wanted to test myself. And so I said, well, I'm doing the Calendar Club Challenge anyways. I might as well throw it in there. But I decided to, this outlet of running and kind of where I'm at right now, I said, it's become an outlet where I would always, channel negative energy or just kind of go out for a 2 hour run and I'd be alone with my thoughts. And now it's become a outlet and I have a platform to do something much bigger than myself, which is raise money for a lot of, yeah, small businesses, restaurants that have been affected by this lousy pandemic.
Yeah.
So I started a GoFundMe and I'm just running every day. And so some people pledge $1 for a mile. Some people they'll do a certain amount for a mile. But everything I raise will all be donated straight to an organization that already has all the infrastructure set up to support these small businesses all across the US.
Wow, that is amazing, man. I love hearing like you haven't even been running for a year, but what it's turned into for you, and now you're using that platform to give back. It's inspiring. It's something that I would love to do and find a way to be more like you. And I just want to thank you. And so most people can find that GoFundMe. I think it's like in the link in your Instagram bio, and it's just
Yeah.
Alec Merlino, right?
Yep. Yeah. I just put it in my bio. And I tell people too, I say, like, if you can't donate, totally get it. If it's $1, hey, $1 is better than no dollars. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, I'm not really concerned with how much people donate. I think even like spreading the word with Instagram, everyone has a voice. Everyone has some people following them. So if they're able to like repost it or just get the word out there that much more, anything helps. Or just support. I have a lot of people that'll support, and like every time I post to run, they'll do the little applause emoji, or so it's like anything helps.
I love that. It's actually one of my favorite verses in the scripture. It's, I think, in Ephesians. It says, "Don't miss an opportunity to be good to someone today." And I think little things go a long way. And what you're doing is amazing. I gotta ask, because you'll run for like 2 hours, and you're on this podcast today. I mean, I would never even know. You look healthy as a like. Are you sore? Do you get tired, or like what is it like mentally for you and
So
physically? I guess.
yeah, I'm not sore. I'm not tired. I think mentally, when you're on today, for example, or I don't know, yesterday I was running 17 miles, and I think mentally, yeah, it's tough because you're running and you're about to be done with the run, and then you think to yourself, dang, dude, I got to wake up tomorrow and do one more mile, which is also really cool because it's all, it becomes a, how mentally tough am I, or how good is my internal dialogue, to be
Wow.
able to wake up every day and be like, okay, 19, let's go, let's crush it. I think obviously doing it for a greater cause helps. Naturally, I like to challenge myself and push myself, but I don't know, dude. The body's pretty crazy. As I get deeper and deeper into the Calendar Club challenge, I've noticed that my body is actually like, I feel like I'm doing better. Like today's run was pretty easy.
Wow.
Um, yeah, but I've also like put in the work, the volume, the miles beforehand. So, but that's not to say it's going to get challenging. I know when I have day 20 miles, then 21, 22, up into 31, it'll get tough.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel good. I stretch. I always tell people that. They're like, my knees hurt. I'm like, are you stretching? My back hurts. I'm like, do you stretch?
Yeah.
So I stretch a ton. I take my diet seriously, all the recovery stuff. I spend a lot of time on that. So that helps.
Yeah. As far as like recovery, do you, it like, I know obviously hydration, do you do like supplementation, any breath work stuff to help with endurance, or like kind of what is that like for you?
I do, like, I got a pretty basic, clean pescatarian diet. I'll do fish oil, multivitamins, and yeah, breath work. I know you're big on the Wim Hof breath work. It's like 11 minutes guided breathing. So I'll do
Yeah.
that. That's kind of meditation too. And I'll do
Hmm.
that most mornings. I don't do it every morning. I try to. But the run itself is it's just like, you get to a point where you kind of feel like you're on autopilot. I explain it like driving a car. When you're driving and you go through a light and then you ask yourself, you're like, was that a green light or a red light?
Yes,
We've
100%.
all like
Yeah.
done that. You're like, oh, I can't even remember. Or you're driving and you get somewhere and you snap out of it. You're almost zoned out.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times I'm running, I might have a podcast on, maybe like David Goggins, or it's just, sometimes it's music. Sometimes rarely I'll run with people. Um, but time, you kind of just switch on autopilot. I'll be running, a mile goes by, next thing I know, I'm at 4 miles, then I'm
Wow.
at 6, then I'm at 8. I'm like, oh wow, and one more mile I get to turn around. Oh, it wasn't that bad. And then you just kind of talk to yourself. You say, okay, I just did 9, let's do one more mile. And then you just start to break it in chunks. And then I get to, I don't know, 6 miles left. I say to myself, It's only 10K. I could run a 10K. All right, 10K, let's go.
Yeah. Wow. What advice would you give, Alec, for somebody? Because you may not admit it, but I'll say it for you. Like, you're incredibly disciplined to be able to do that. And yes, you have some accountability. You have a strong pull. What would you say to somebody who's listening to this? They're like, man, I want to get started on this. I want to do something. How have you been able to build this consistency, or what is something that has helped you to continuously day in and day out do this, this insane amount of running?
I would say count on no one but yourself.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, it's the battle with anything in life is never anything but you. It's all you against you. Running is clearly a direct, like, it really focuses on that battle. But, like, for example, when I go for a run and like tomorrow I'll do 19 miles, I always say, okay, when I run, there's probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 times during a mile where I say to myself, oh, this sucks, or my body kind of hurts, or I could totally just like walk right now. But it's being able to have the mental capacity or strength to be like, okay, I'm gonna push a little bit more. And so I always say there's like two, I've heard this before. It's like two wolves inside of people
Yeah.
with anything in life. And whatever wolf you feed more is the one that'll win the battle.
Yeah.
So if you're running and you feel like stopping, keep running. If you're at work and you feel like giving up, or if you're in real estate and things aren't going your way and you feel like giving up, or whatever it is in life and you feel like giving up, just push a little more. Just keep pushing a little more. And you start to win these little battles, and then you ultimately win or accomplish whatever it is you set out to accomplish. And then you're like, oh shit, dude, I did it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what else could I do? What else could I apply that to in life?
Oh,
So
I
it's just
love it.
like, it's building. I always say, when you can find small wins throughout the day, it only like compounds on itself.
Yeah.
Right? So on a run, I might say to myself, I mean, in the beginning, it was a lot of times. Now it's not as many. But if you're going through something terrible and you have this negative internal dialogue, you have these two wolves, and the one's just like, the bad one's like, no, stop, or no, this sucks, or no, this hurts. It's like, if you can have this internal dialogue that says, no, keep going, that's a win. And you don't stop. Or if you're at work, you're like, oh, this sucks, I want to close the computer, I'm done. And you don't, that's a win.
Yes.
And you continue to win, and it just compounds on itself. So like the next day, believe it or not, well, it gets that much easier. Yeah, you might not feel it, or it might not be visible or tangible, but you are growing and you are becoming better.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I think that's like one of those things. If the more times in one day, then I always so just take it a day at a time. One day.
Yeah.
Forget about tomorrow and forget about the day before. Just today, when you have that little internal, choose what's hard. Choose what's gonna make you uncomfortable. Like Conor McGregor says, like, I love being comfortable in the uncomfortable. Like, the more you do that and the more you push, I feel like you're literally, like, I look at it like two kind of scales, right? You kind of get this one. Now your autopilot, your subconscious, your default is okay, do the extra mile. Go a little bit extra harder. That's why I know I love Ed Milet. And this is something I do in fitness is I always do one more. So if I'm doing 4 sets of something, I always do a fifth set. And if I'm doing 10 reps, I always do 11. I always do the one more, right? Because then I know, even in my business, somebody asks me for something, I'm going to give it to them, but I'm going to go the extra mile and find something else that I can also provide for them, and you have this one more mentality. And I think, Alec, you're nailing it. You're like, if I can feed that other wolf a little bit more, he starts to dominate, and it starts to become your default. Like, I'm going to do what's hard. Man, you are inspiring, Alec. I'm so thankful that Sean connected us and that you were able to come onto this podcast. You've just been sharing a ton of nuggets and really inspiring stuff, man. You're a great person.
Dude, I appreciate that, dude. Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm stoked as well. Super
Yeah.
stoked.
Yeah. So I want to wrap it up today, and I want to just thank you for being on this podcast, and everybody who's listening today. You know, I've been getting a ton of encouragement, and I want to continue to have great people like Alec on this show. So please recommend guests as well, like Sean did, and give Alex some support. I mean, what's the best way? You probably like social media, Instagram to get in touch with you, or what?
Yeah, social media for sure. It's not like, I mean, hit me up on social media if you want tips on like running or anything. It doesn't have to be about the whole GoFundMe and the Calendar Club Challenge. If they want to like just follow along, I know a lot of people just like following along. We're on day 18, so they'll be able to catch the last tail end of it. I'm planning on doing a big run for the final one, March 31st, which I'll end up posting about. And so people can come out and join, whether they want to run part of it with me, whether they want to bike alongside of me, drive by and honk their horn, whether they want to get on some rollerblades and rollerblade next to me, whatever it is. But I'll most likely, probably for those that are local, run from Carlsbad to Pacific Beach for the 31 miler.
Wow. Let's go.
Let's
go. That is amazing, Alec. Well, I know you're very busy, man, and I really appreciate your time and your genuineness and just your vulnerability, being able to share and open up about your experiences with all of our listeners today. I really appreciate you, man.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate you as well. Thanks for having me on, bro.
All right. Well, thank you, Alec, and thank you, everyone, for listening. You have a wonderful, blessed, and prosperous rest of your day. God bless.